What's going on, boys and girls? What's up, world? Austin John Plays here, and today I'm going to be going over all the Pokemon that you could transfer from your old games and supported in Pokemon Sword and Shield. So I'm actually in Cartagena, Colombia today, and I wasn't able to be stateside, but this is actually some pre-recorded stuff, and all the footage is patched in now that Pokemon Home is actually out. So let's get into it.
Now this is going to raise sort of a philosophical question. If you have two completely different forms of a Pokemon, like regional forms, if they consider themselves to be different Pokemon, for the sake of this video, we do. I'm going to be focusing on all the Pokemon that you're going to be able to transfer using only Pokemon Home without Pokemon Bank, so you can do the free service. And then I'm going to be going over the Pokemon that you need Pokemon Bank for. In Pokemon Sword and Shield, it natively supports Charmander, Charmeleon, Charizard, and Gigantamax Charizard. But the base version of Pokemon Sword and Shield, meaning before the DLC releases, you're going to be able to transfer over Bulbasaur, Ivysaur, and Venusaur as well. You could bring them in, you could start breeding them up, you could do whatever you want with them. Same thing goes for Squirtle, Wartortle, and Blastoise. Cantonian forms that are available in Sword and Shield include Meowth and Persian. You can get the Meowth via the G-Max Meowth and breed it down, or you can trade for one inside of the game for a Galarian Meowth, as well as Mr. Mime. You're able to get a Cantonian Mr. Mime via trade, but you're going to be able to transfer over a Cantonian Mr. Mime, of course. You can also transfer over a Cantonian Weezing that you normally cannot transfer over, because you only have the ability to have Galarian Weezing in the game. Same that goes for Alolan Raichu, Cantonian Ponyta, and Rapidash, as well as Cantonian Farfetch'd, Alolan Vulpix, Ninetales, Meowth, Persian, Diglett, and Dugtrio. Now, it's important to note here that if you have a regional version that's different from the region you're currently playing in order to breed down the regional variant, that Pokemon needs to hold an Everstone, meaning that if I want to breed down this Diglett and maybe Shiny Hunt for one or whatever, when I put this Alolan Diglett inside of the daycare, it needs to hold an Everstone. Otherwise, it's gonna come out as a Galarian Diglett. However, Pokemon that have a split evolution based on region, for example, Mime Jr., when in any other game evolves into Mr. Mime, and in this game evolves into Galarian Mr. Mime, it will always evolve into Galarian Mr. Mime. In Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, there was a sort of a workaround for that, making your way to Ultra Space, and then it would be the Cantonian version. I've yet to find a place for that, so if there is a place, I'm going to leave it linked down below. You could also transfer over Mewtwo that you caught in Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee or Pokemon Go, Mew that you've redeemed from the Pokeball Plus in Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, or the Mew that you got from, and I'm not too sure about the Mew from Pokemon Go. I don't think you're allowed to transfer the Go Mew into Let's Go, so maybe you can't transfer him over. However, if you have a Meltan and a Melmetal, you can transfer those over. At this point in time, there is still no way to get Gigantamax Melmetal, so for now, you're only left with the base form. And this right here is all of the Pokemon that if you have only the free version of Pokemon Home, you're going to be able to bring over, you know, in addition to the 400 built into the game. There are some other non-regional variant Pokemon that you're going to be able to transfer over if you have the premium version of Pokemon Home and Pokemon Bank and previous entries. By default, you already can get a Unovian Yamask and Cofarigus by doing the trade, but you can also get yourself a regional region Zigzagoon, Lanoon, Darumaka, Darmanitan, Corsola, and Stunfisk. I don't know why you would want an original Stunfisk or any Stunfisk at all, but you can. And as far as Sun, Moon, Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, you can transfer over all of the starters. That means Rowlet, Dartrix, Decidueye, Litten, Torracat, Incineroar, Poplio, Brionne, Primarina, Cosmog, Cosmium, Solgaleo, Lunala, Necrozma, Dawnwings, and Duskmane Necrozma as well. Do keep in mind that you can't transfer them fused into Pokemon Bank and vis-a-vis Pokemon Home, so you have to keep them separate and then transfer them over into Sword and Shield and then fuse them in Sword and Shield. Using the Ultra Space wormholes, you could of course also get Cobalion, Terrakion, Virizion, Reshiram, Zekrom, Kyurem Black, and Kyurem White. And then lastly is the mythical Pokemon that you're able to transfer over, and that's going to be Marshadow and Zeraora from Pokemon Ultra Sun and Moon, and from previous generations, Celebi, Jirachi, Keldeo, and also Keldeo's Resolute form. If you teach it Sacred Sword, just go to a Pokemon Center and make it relearn that. Now, this is some very basic knowledge for you to know that all these Pokemon are currently supported. Heck, they were supported day one. It's just they don't have a Pokedex number. If you redeemed your Mew, you'll notice that Mew doesn't have a Pokedex number. Same thing goes for Slowpoke. The Isle of Armor Slowpoke you can have in game, you can't evolve it. It's also worth noting that you cannot transfer over a Cantonian Slowpoke at this time, which is pretty weird. They're probably gonna have support for that once Isle of Armor is released. Now, again, at this point in time, there is no way outside of Pokemon Go to evolve Meltan into Melmetal. So at this point in time, you're still required to evolve Meltan into Melmetal in Pokemon Go, which you can do with Pokemon Go and Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. I have a full video on that, on how to get yourself a whole bunch of Meltans and stuff. I'm probably going to link it in the top corner if I remember. If not, you could just search it and search Austin John Plays Meltan. That's probably all you need. Now, it's worth noting here that as far as the starter Pokemon, these are going to be very readily available on the GTS, because once someone transfers over one, they're going to start breeding it. People are going to shiny hunt. They're going to trade away their Bulbasaurs. They're going to surprise trade them away. They're going to flood the GTS. Same thing goes for Squirtle, and a very good chance it's also going to happen for Litten, Rowlet, and Popplio. Now, once you get to the legendaries, those are in short supply. Those are going to be the ones that people are going to be asking for shiny Gigantamax Pokemon for. And say, for example, you don't have all of these legendary Pokemon. You don't have Pokemon Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon. Using the GTS, you're probably going to be able to put in rarer Pokemon like shiny Gigantamax Alcremie and Charizard and ask for the more rarer Pokemon, the legendaries and such. But yeah, guys, in addition to the 400 Pokemon that are natively supported in the Galarian Pokedex, you are going to be able to transfer over these 58 Pokemon and or Pokemon forms in order to, you know, just have more Pokemon in the game. So there you go, guys. That's all the Pokemon you're going to be able to transfer over using Pokemon Home and Let's Go Pikachu, Eevee, Pokemon Go, as well as Pokemon Bank with the premium service. If you're still confused on the differences of all the things that you can and cannot do with the premium service, I'm going to have a link in the top corner. Be sure to check that out. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe, turn on notifications, and until next time, Austin John out.